Hey, what's up, Unbroken Nation? And what I'm thinking as you're going through this is the word resiliency keeps coming to mind. And talk about that. Where does resiliency play a role in this?
Yeah, so that's why I wrote a chapter about resilience in my book. And I talk about how it can't be, you can't actually give, like, I can't give you Michael resilience and you can't give me resilience. You can build resilience. Some people are born with more resilience than others. Some people just have a different outlook. And that goes back to neuroscience and genetics and all kinds of, things, environment, everything that turns us into who we are as human beings. But resilience is the ability to kind of keep getting back up with a no, with one no or 10 no's or 500 no's. The ability to say, you know what, that might still be a no, but I'm not going to quit until I get the yes. Um, Jack Canfield, all those Chicken Soup for the Soul books. I don't know if you know them or read them years ago. And he was told no by 100, I think it's 137 publishers. And someone asked him one day, well, why didn't you quit at like 112 or 57 or 82? Would know, like, why don't you just stop and you couldn't get your book published? He said, because I didn't get the yes I wanted. He kept going and going and going and trying different things to get his book published. And finally, someone on a plane after a conference read his book on the way home and said, yes, we'll publish it. And that was number 138. But if he had stopped anywhere before then, that series, I think it's like the best-selling series of all time or something like that. But the whole point is, when someone asked him, why didn't you quit? I didn't have what I wanted yet. I didn't have what I wanted yet. So if you quit, you're never going to get what you want. If you keep going, it might take you longer. You might have to keep hearing no's, like you were saying, a million times, and it doesn't feel good, but doesn't mean you're still not going to get it. You're definitely not going to get it if you quit.
Yeah, for sure you're not. And you mentioned building resiliency. Like, what is that process? How do you do that?
So I say it. I say you build resilience by not being around people that are negative. You keep looking for other solutions. So you're told no for a job. Well, then you're going to go to someone else that might tell you yes. You are told no for a raise or promotion. Then you're going to ask what you can do to have it next time. You keep going to someone else or something else to find your solution or find the thing you want. And you don't take, basically, you're taking no for an answer because that might be the answer, but that's not the answer forever. And building resilience is continuing to go back to the things that you know are true, or that whatever you're really, really fighting for and looking for, and saying, I'm not giving up. I'm going to find another resource that's going to help me. So it's asking more questions, building resilience. It's going to different resources. It's talking to new people that will be able to support you. It's looking for anything and anyone that's going to help you get where you want to go. And I don't mean this in a selfish way, like, what can you do for me? It's just, here's what I'm looking for. Is there anyone that has any guidance or insight for me? It's just hey, I'm wondering if. That's what happened when I published my book. I had it almost fully written, and I needed a publisher and I needed a book cover, and I didn't even know what I needed because I'd never done it before. But I sent an email to, like, I think 20 people in the business world that I knew would support me, and I supported them. And I just said, you guys, I need these 5 things. Do you guys know anyone that can help me with these? I'm willing to pay for them. I'm willing to do the work. I know what I need, but I can't go to one person for this. I know it's probably 3 or 4 different things. And all these people started replying to me and saying, I can help you with this. Hey, check out this resource. Hey, there's a book on this. Hey, I know this person that does this. And all of a sudden I had all my answers. I didn't have them all here. I didn't know them. I was smart enough to know that I couldn't do that on my own. So I asked people that supported me in my network how I can make it happen. And if all of them came back with 0, I would have asked 20 other people. So the whole point is building resilience. So ask 20 people that can help you. And if you get 20 no's, there's 10 more or 5 more or 2 more or 50 more people you can ask. Don't stop asking, because just because you don't have what you want doesn't mean it's not possible, which is why that's in my title of my book, the possibilities part. That's the most important part. It is possible.
Hey, Unbroken Nation, we'll be right back to the show, but I wanted to let you know that you can grab a copy of my first book, Think Unbroken, Understanding and Overcoming Childhood Trauma for free. If you go to book.thinkunbroken.com, you can download the PDF ebook version of the book and get everything that I know about the baseline of healing trauma for free, downloaded to your email right now. Just go to book.thinkunbroken.com to download your copy of Think Unbroken, Understanding and Overcoming Childhood Trauma for a PDF for your phone. Again, that is book.thinkunbroken.com. Yeah. How do you step into possibility? Because I think that people, as they go through this, gets disillusioned, right? You hit no 3 times, 8 times, 30 times over the course of 4 years,
Yeah.
right? 5 years even. Like I feel like people get so jaded by that. How do you continue to stay positive and in this place to seek possibility?
So I think one of the ways is, I'm going to go back to Marie Brola because I learned this from her a couple years ago. If you have this dream in your heart, and other people have talked about this before, if you have the vision or the dream or the idea, it's because you're supposed to pursue it. It's a very simple concept. I wish I would have learned this when I was in my 20s. If you have the idea, the dream, or the goal in your mind, you are supposed to pursue it. So that right there opens your mind up to possibility. Like, I just had an idea. I guess this means I'm supposed to go ask someone about it or read about it or do whatever I need to do about something about it. And right there, that's your possibility. And if you're wondering what else is possible, it kind of goes back to the resilience piece, which is, I'd like to do this, whether it's new job, travel, find a soulmate, whatever you want to do, it's possible. And the reason you know it's possible is because other people are doing it. And if you don't see anyone else doing it, still doesn't mean it's not possible. It just means no one else has done it yet. So look for examples of possibility. Ask yourself what else could be possible and look for other resources. But also, it just went out of my mind, the possibility. I had a good point. Almost anything that you can think of in your mind is possible. I know people will say like, okay, well, I want to be like Michael Jordan, but I'm 50 years old and I want to go in the NBA and I can, and whatever. It's like, no, probably not. That's probably a good example of you not being able to do what you want to do, but that doesn't mean you can't go work for a basketball team. You can't go support a basketball team. You can't go volunteer for someone else that does something with basketball. You could be, you can go to school to learn how to talk about basketball and be a broadcaster. Like, there's all these other avenues. And then ask yourself, like, okay, if I can't have that thing, what do I really want? Like, when I get that thing, what's the feeling I want to have? And if the feeling I want to have is, I love talking about basketball and playing it and being around people. Well, you don't not only need to be a player to do that. There's a lot of other ways to do that and stay involved in basketball. So it's like, when I think of possibilities, it's like, what am I trying to achieve and why am I trying to achieve it? And just because you have the idea and you get a no doesn't mean it can't happen. And your idea might just need to be tweaked a little bit because something else is possible for it. That help?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think about this journey all the time of like, chances are, because there's freaking 8 billion people on planet Earth,
Huh?
that somebody has done the thing that you want to do. And honestly, it's funny because I remember you've mentioned Marie Forleo a couple of times. I connected with her years ago, and then I was in London actually when her last book came out, and I was on the train reading it, and I was just thinking to myself, it's crazy how different your life can be when you choose to show up for it. And I think a lot of that comes from like the execution against these dreams. But I worry that people will hear this and that people can be overly optimistic and overly positive and be very much in this manifestor mode, but not be taking action. Right? Where's that parlay between like manifestation and action and actually bringing these things to fruition?
Yeah. So I actually have a chapter about manifesting in my book too. It's the last chapter in my book. Because I believe that you are um you manifest what you desire. And if you can't manifest the thing you desire, it's because you're blocking it in some way that, like, you think you want it, but it's not happening because there's something you're doing to block it. It's not something someone else is doing. It might look like that, but it's something someone else is doing. But you're right. If you can't just say, I would like a brand new car to come to me, as a gift or whatever, and like, I'm just going to sit back and just think about that all day long. Now, first of all, you can think about it and that will be helpful, how it's going to make you feel and what it looks like. And and imagine all the details about it. But if you just sit back and take absolutely no action, and you don't start researching the car, you don't start looking at pictures of it, you don't start talking about to people about how much you want it and how excited you're going to be when you get it someday, you're not building any momentum. You're not creating all of the good energy that goes through and around that desire to have this new car or whatever. I'm just using that as an example. It could be anything. But the whole point is, if you just sit back and do nothing and only think about it, having it happen to you is a lot less likely than if you do all those other things I just mentioned, which is creating it. So it's been in it. I don't know how much you know about the whole manifestation thing. If you read a lot about it, I do, but there's it's all about creating the feeling inside of you. And when you have that, when you change the vibration and you change the feeling inside of you about having it be yours, that's what ends up drawing it to you quicker. But if you are only thinking about the lack of it, that's when you keep pushing it away. Like, I don't have that car yet. And I talked to you, Michael, about this new car, and I really want this new car, but I don't have it yet. And I'd love it to be a gift. And I don't know anyone who has that kind of money. Well, all of those things I just said to you are not going to bring that car to me sooner. But if I say to you, I really have my eye on this beautiful car, I can't wait to get it someday. I have a feeling I'm going to get, like, win a prize or something. I don't know. And then we start talking about how excited it could be that I have it. It's positive stuff. It's fun. It changes the way you feel. It makes you excited. And then it makes you want to go do the things that might make it possible. But if you're only talking about all the negative things, manifesting, it doesn't happen. That's not how it works.